Harley-Davidson, established in 1903, started out in a shed in Milwaukee and grew to become one of the most popular motorcycle manufacturers in the world. It survived the Great Depression and World War II, but it looks like the American motorcycle giant may not survive the recent market crash. As a matter of fact, it's not just Harley-Davidson in trouble. Other major motorcycle brands have been on edge as sales have been plummeting drastically for some time now. Hey Spotlight Riders, welcome back to Motorcycle Spotlight, where we shine a light on the innovations shaping our riding future. If you're not already a Spotlight Rider, become one today by hitting that like and subscribe button. You don't want to miss out on our fun updates. Today we're looking at the motorcycle market meltdown taking place in 2025. Major manufacturers in crisis. Harley-Davidson is currently on shaky grounds as it reported a $117 million loss in the fourth quarter of 2024 alone. To put things into perspective, with that kind of money, you can feed over 100,000 people in the US for a month. Wow, it's no wonder the motorcycle world is in shambles. And it's not just one brand taking huge losses in recent years. Japanese powerhouses Honda and Yamaha and other big names like Kawasaki, Ducati, and BMW are all taking hits too. Everyone is facing a crisis. What is happening? Big brands start panicking, and for good reason. They had severely underestimated the motorcycle market crash, producing far more motorcycles than people need. Motorcycle lots are beginning to run out of space to store bikes. Market saturation. So dealerships are failing to sell motorcycles, and even though major brands are cutting down on production, it's not enough. We're looking at a market where the supply of motorcycles has exceeded the demand for them. A lot of people still have their old bikes, and it doesn't make any sense to buy a new, overpriced one. In countries like Vietnam, the domestic output is estimated at over 3.32 million units, whereas the domestic consumption is only 2.8 million annually. We're seeing this happen in other countries like Indonesia, Thailand, and India as well. As a result of this market saturation, dealerships are struggling with storage overflows, as they have no place to store the unsold bikes, and more bikes are being shipped in. With bike sales declining and dealerships constantly losing money just to keep these motorcycles in their inventory, a lot of them have one choice other than to shut down completely. Dealership closures. Imagine you spent months or even years saving to get your dream motorcycle. Finally, after a lot of hard work, you decide to head down to the dealership to pick up that dream bike. Unfortunately, they're now closed. This is the new reality for a lot of Spotlight riders. Harley-Davidson announced the closure of its branch in Orange County at the end of October last year, citing economic challenges. Their branch on Cultons Road, UK, is also set to close in April this year. Blade Motorcycle Group shut down its branch in Swindon. Between 2023 and 2024, several other dealerships including Marsh Holdings Limited, Street Bike, Groombridge Motorcycles, and Saltier Motorcycles have closed down due to economic uncertainties. We've seen the effect of the market crash on the motorcycle manufacturers and how they're reacting to it, but this historic crash of the bike market we're witnessing today isn't happening for no reason. Transition to electric. Every Spotlight rider has had that moment of awakening. That first time they hear the roar of a powerful 1000cc beast ripping it down the highway and just know they had to get a motorcycle just like that. For a lot of us, an electric bike just doesn't cut it. We need that auditory feedback. But brands like Harley-Davidson and Honda are shifting towards electric, and unfortunately this has alienated a lot of bike lovers, essentially leading to fewer people purchasing new motorcycles. These aren't the only reasons why a lot of riders aren't picking electric. Others include high purchase cost, limited range and charging infrastructure, limited customization options. Sure, we can agree that these electric bikes appeal to a certain demographic of riders, but does it truly embody the American dream? Does the silent whir of an electric motor scream freedom to you? Having a good time so far? Why not become a Spotlight rider today? Hit that like and subscribe button to get all the best up-to-date news on motorcycles. Stick with us till the end of this video. We have good news for you riders. The youth market problem. Unless you've been living under a rock for the last 2 decades, we all know that Gen Z and Boomers have been at each other's throats for some time now. Well, that might be an exaggeration, but there are a lot of things we don't see eye to eye about. and motorcycles, too, are a point of disagreement. Unfortunately, Gen Z isn't lining up to buy old-school cafe racers or bobbers. Suzuki and Yamaha sadly missed the mark with younger riders who chose electric scooters over traditional bikes. As a result, sales are dropping drastically. In an effort to reach the younger market, brands like Harley-Davidson and Royal Enfield are desperately exploring cheaper, more efficient, and environmentally friendly options. Would this be enough to revive the motorcycle market? That remains to be seen. Speaking of market problem, it's not just the different aesthetics that are affecting bike sales. One of the biggest reasons why bike lovers aren't going to dealerships anymore is because they can't afford to. Economic squeeze on riders. We all have our dream bikes. Obviously, we're spotlight riders after all. Some of us grew up loving cafe racers, bobbers, sports bikes, etc., but not all of us were privileged enough to be able to pay for these bikes outright. Now, with the economy getting worse every year since the pandemic, fewer people are able to afford food, let alone motorcycles. There's been a sharp increase in bikes getting repossessed as buyers frequently defaulted on payment. There are a number of factors responsible for this. Greedy motorcycle manufacturers, high interest rates, factory shutdowns, low consumer confidence. Talks about the unfair price hikes have spilled over onto Reddit, with an entire thread of bike lovers complaining about the prices. Bikes used to be a cheap, fun means to get from one point to another, but with prices reaching over 10 grand, it's just not practical to buy one anymore. While greedy motorcycle manufacturers are largely responsible for the price, we have to be fair and admit that there are other reasons why motorcycles cost so much. Supply chain chaos. We're all not very pleased about how expensive motorcycles have gotten recently. We have to consider that some manufacturers had legitimate reasons to explain the price. Of course, a lot of them are still just greedy. But one of the reasons for the price hike was the 2020 coronavirus pandemic. Yeah, that's right. 5 years later, we're still suffering from the consequences. The lockdown disrupted supply chains, leading to production halts and a storage of parts, frustrating pretty much everyone involved. Harley-Davidson was among those brands hit by this disruption, as they were forced to announce that they were suspending production back in 2022. However, a lot of these supply chain issues have been resolved. It's been 5 whole years. Why are bikes still so expensive? Again, the answer is corporate greed. But it's not just the motorcycle manufacturers who are artificially keeping the prices of motorcycles. I mean, we can't expect the government to miss out on an opportunity to make life harder for its people, can we? Regulatory taxation changes. I'm not going to throw unnecessary shade at any government, but we can all admit that there are times when government policies have no other bearings on our lives but to make things harder for us. In 2025, we've seen governments implement regulatory taxations that negatively affect the motorcycle industry. The Netherlands introduced a purchase tax on electric motorbikes. This means electric motorcycles will be subject to 19.4% tax on their purchase price, further driving up the cost of premium models like Energetica Xperia by over 4,500 euros. Both motorcycle enthusiasts and environmental advocates are equally pissed, which is a difficult thing to do, I might add. Now that we're all caught up on the ongoing motorcycle market trend, you're probably wondering, what does this mean for me as a spotlight rider? What is the step forward if you're trying to get a motorcycle? Where does the end consumer stand in this? Here's what this means for you. Well, the truth is, no one actually knows what will happen in the next few months or even years. Maybe we're witnessing the beginning of the end of some major motorcycle brands. Maybe this is just a temporary crash, and the brands will recover from this easily. We don't know, but if you're a bike lover trying to get a motorcycle, we have one advice for you. Wait. With how things are going in the market, it's likely we're only still at the beginning of the motorcycle market crash. The prices of secondhand motorcycles are going down fast. If you're patient and you pick the right time, there's a high chance you might be able to actually get a great bike for your money's worth. Well, did we leave anything out? Tell us in the comments section below. We hope you had fun watching our video. On Motorcycle Spotlight, we bring you the best, credible updates in the motorcycle scene. If you're still interested in getting a bike, then you might want to hit the like and subscribe button so you'll be the first to know when it's the perfect time to hit the market and snipe that dream motorcycle you've been wanting to get. Till next time, throttle up.